Okay, now we are doing the LMGs, and to be honest, I was thinking about doing two separate videos. However, I literally cannot be bothered with making a separate video for the M249. That's why I would say you are getting a super episode where I cover two weapons in one video and get it over with, so we can finally get to the guns we actually like to talk about. So today we're looking at the Negev and the M249. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the stats of both guns and how to use it? And with that out of the way, let's get to the video. But first, guys, don't forget about the giveaway in the description down below. And as always, now a quick word from our sponsor.
This video is sponsored by Skin Baron, the ultimate marketplace for buying and selling your CS skins. Skin Baron is a German company with an excellent Trustpilot rating, trusted by thousands of players. Save up to 30% compared to the Steam market with over 1 billion skins and easy to use filters. Finding your perfect skin is a breeze. They offer multiple payment methods including credit card, Klarna and even more. And if you're selling a skin worth over 1,000 euros, you'll only pay 2% fees on it. Use my code Shifterz to support the channel and start your Skin Baron journey today. Thank you, Skin Baron, and now back to the video.
Okay, both guns are gonna be covered here, and to be honest, I'm always gonna compare the M249 to the Negev, because before we even get into the stats, I can already tell you the Negev is the only viable one here. And with that, I've basically already answered the question if this gun is viable or not. And yeah, so let's start off with the Negev and the stats of the gun. So the Negev is pretty simple. It is a very cheap LMG with 1,700 price tag and a normal 300 kill reward. The magazine size is at 150 rounds with 300 in the reserve. The RPM is at 800 and the damage of the gun is at 35 per shot. The armor penetration is pretty decent. The reload time, obviously being an LMG, is going to be a lot at 5.7 seconds, and the accuracy of this gun, depending on how you look at it, but the first 10 shots are completely random, and after that it is an absolute laser beam, so you can use that to your advantage, and therefore it has a proper use case. So now let's actually look at the M249 and how it compares. So price, of course, it is the most expensive gun with $5,200, and the kill reward is standard at $300. The magazine size is lower with 100 rounds and 200 in reserve. The fire rate is a bit less with 750 RPM, and the damage per shot is also a bit less with 32 per shot. And well, the armor penetration is also a bit higher, and the only positive thing about this gun, to be honest, is that you are able to get a one-hit kill even if the enemy has head armor, and that is something that the Negev doesn't have, because you will leave the enemy with 1 HP. And when it comes to the reload time, it's basically the same as the Negev, 5.7 seconds ish, and is therefore very slow. And what also is similar for both guns is the movement speed, and that is because the LMGs are very heavy and you're going to be moving sub 200 units per second. So what are the pros of the Negev? And the first thing is obviously the ridiculously high ammo capacity, and because of that you are able to let down suppressive fire, block off lanes, and people are generally going to be very overwhelmed when they're just being shot by an LMG and they don't really know how to counter it. And then, as mentioned before, the accuracy of the Negev is just a laser. After the first 10 shots are fired, and you're going to be able to kill someone just because they don't really know how to counter it. And well, the last positive thing about the Negev is the price. It is the same price as a scout, and you could theoretically use that instead of a scout, and you actually might be able to get more impact than with a scout. And when it comes to the M249, only thing that I can say is the superior armor penetration and the headshot potential with this gun. And to be honest, that's everything I have for it, because I absolutely despise how the gun feels, how it works, and I see no use case with it. And yeah, I've already mentioned that a couple of times, and you can already tell how my stance is. But yeah, with that negativity, I would say we move straight to the cons. And first of all, for the Negev, the mobility penalty is absolutely atrocious, and you're moving very slow, and once you start shooting, you're a sitting target, to be honest. Same thing can be said for the M249. However, with that gun, you aren't really going to be spamming it, since the recoil pattern of it is absolutely weird and you cannot control it, in my opinion. And then both guns have the same problem, which is the slow reload. And well, the M249 has the additional problem of costing $5,200, which is more expensive than an auto sniper, and that gun at least has a real good use case and is really tricky to kill, while the M249 doesn't really have that benefit. So how should you use both guns? Let's start off with the Negev, and here it is very simple. It is a perfect gun to maybe use as an anti-eco weapon or a farm gun when you know enemies are either going to be rushing you, or you need something with a heavy punch to hold off a sight, close off an area, or hold off a push. And therefore hold to an angle, start spraying, and start slowly cutting off the enemy's potential to move around at that angle and spray it through and hope for the best that you can actually get a kill. Once you've done that, relocate, choose another angle, and start doing the same thing. Clear with your shots. Because you have 150 rounds, you can really use that to clear areas while shooting, and if you're crouching or shift walking, you are not going to be moving very fast. Or at the end of the day, let the enemies come to you. They don't really know what to do against the Negev spray, and therefore they will feel very overwhelmed, and once you're in that laser beam, you are going to be very precise and can kill them. And again, aim for the head for this gun because you will quickly be able to kill them. And well, when it comes to the M249, my honest opinion is don't buy it. Spend that money on something else, or you're winning that many rounds that you feel like it's now okay to troll, then go for it. But if for some reason you think that this is the right buy for your condition right now, go for it. And I don't really have any recommendations than to resell the gun and buy something else, but nevertheless I committed to give for every weapon an explanation on how to use it. And maybe for this one I would say defensive choke point holding could be the optimal idea with it, or you can use it as a moment of intimidation. I would say, since you don't hear that sound a lot, people will feel confused and maybe even intimidated by that sound, and therefore don't really know how to counter it, and you can use that to your advantage. And while the enemy is overwhelmed by it, your partner, your teammate can get into the site or where the enemies are staying and kill them and surprise them while they are focusing on the sound of the M249. And well, my summary is the Negev has some use cases that make it very special and effective in what it does, and therefore I would say has reasons to stay in the meta and maybe even in your loadout. However, the M249 has no reason to be in your loadout, and the only reason you should use it is if you know you want to troll, then go for it, buy that gun and enjoy your life. So guys, that was a 2-for-1 special with the guns. Let me know down in the description below what's your opinion on all of them, and if you actually have the M249 in your loadout or not. And yeah, you use the Negev, everything, just let it down in the comments, let me know. And as always guys, don't forget to check out all of the relevant links down in the description below, and as always don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to hype up the video, and as always I will see you on the next one.